see all these funny stickers on cars where it's like, I am a lawyer, trouble is my work.
Yeah. The truth is, as far as I remember, I never really wanted to be a lawyer. As an upcoming lawyer, your best and even only stock in trade is you. What you sell is your competence, your ability to deliver. A business owner or a business that is struggling with compliance may also struggle with complying with the terms of the contract.
Fair.
I think what dissuaded me was maths. I may have casted a lot of lawyers with this disclosure. Because a lot of my colleagues never really wanted to be lawyers, but because of their hatred for maths, they found themselves in arts. My dad being a lawyer helped because I was able to see him practice these things and I fell in love with the profession. The attire was the first catch for me. To see him wear his wig and gown before dressing to go to court, I was like, this is a bit dramatic, but I like the idea.
In fact, you are going to be the person that I call.
Evidence, exhibit EA1.
Market.
If you are a startup and you have a very lean team, the team size is very small, say a 2 or 3 man company, I will not readily recommend a limited liability company. I noticed that most business owners are reactive when it comes to compliance. It is only when do you understand? It's only when
my bro, I've had my
the regulator has sent you a message that how far have you complied?
Then after expecting the lawyer to
do magic.
Make magic happen.
During my time, it wasn't so easy to land a first class because, of course, good grades is what will first get you to the door.
What's the most overrated legal field?
I started Brother Man Asylum because I grew up without a father. At 12 years old, I lost my dad and I had to navigate learning masculinity all by myself. And that journey was easy because I had mentors. I had older men who guided, mentored, taught, and modeled what real masculinity looks like. And that is the crux of what we do here at Brother Man Asylum. And with all the madness going on in the world, we want this message and this movement to reach many more men. And you can help to do that by just liking, subscribing, and sharing it. So hit that like button and the subscribe button and help spread this message.
From the title, you can see that this is all things lawyer related, legal related.
Right.
I see all these funny stickers on cars where it's like, I am a lawyer, trouble is my work.
Yeah.
Have you ever had any of those funny stickers?
Funny thing is, I got one 2 days ago.
For you?
Well, I thought about it again because, you know, as a lawyer, there is a fine line between speaking about your work, what you do, and, for lack of a better word, sounding arrogant or, you know, sounding a bit ras.
Yeah.
The profession is highly regulated, and so there are expectations. As a lawyer, there are certain things you're not supposed to say. Yes, you are a lawyer. Yes, you can provide legal services, but you don't want to be brandishing that all over your car or assets so that people can see and say, okay, that's a lawyer I should approach. But I think the acceptable stickers that I see around are those ones where you just say member, MBA. The one you put in front and then at the back. But you also have some lawyers that, like for instance, I have a friend, he works in the bank, but he's that type of lawyer. So at the back you have, if you are...
He's ready for a street fight.
I'm telling you. So yeah, there's that.
I feel you. So, I mean, I really appreciate you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you.
Ebuka is a friend, a brother. And he gracefully took out time to be here. Thank you. We're recording this on a Saturday, so he should be with his family. So when you guys see this episode, please help me ask for his domiciliary account. Help me send him dollars.
Very
you know
important.
what I'm saying? Anything from 5K upwards.
Very important.
Yeah, man. So Ebuka, like I said, is a friend, is a lawyer. I'll let him introduce himself in a bit, and he'll be walking us through kind of like that blueprint, your friendly blueprint, especially for aspiring legal practitioners or people who have already started but are beginning to have doubts. They're not quite sure how they can make a career of it, you know, and all of that. He's going to be walking us through all of that today, but I'll let him introduce himself first. So, who is thee? Who are thou?
I'm a humble... So for introduction, my name is obviously Ebuka Obidigwe, and I'm obviously a lawyer. In terms of experience, I've practiced for about 10 years now. Yes. I currently work with Els Legal as a managing partner.
Okay.
And our focus or practice areas include dispute resolution. Dispute resolution is, to put it broadly, because under dispute resolution you have litigation. Litigation relates to like the courtroom, advocacy, resolving disputes through the instrumentality of a court system. Then you also have other aspects of dispute resolution. To put it broadly, ADR, which is alternative dispute resolution, and that covers arbitration, mediation, conciliation. In fact, any aspect of dispute resolution that does not involve the court system, you would refer to as ADR. So, anything that has to do with dispute resolution, that's my forte. But in the course of providing services to clients, I have had cause to also provide services in other aspects of law beyond dispute resolution. So I've done a bit of corporate commercial law advisory. I've been able to advise clients, do hand-holding, guiding them through, the process of setting up, ensuring that all regulatory licensing issues are in place and compliance issues are in place. Then I also do a bit of company secretarial services.
What does that mean?
So as a corporate entity, even as an individual, if you want to have your administrative the administrative aspect of your business run properly, it's good to have a company secretary. A company secretary will ensure that things like, for instance, your board meetings are properly convened, the notice of meetings are sent out, all the filings you need to do with the CAC. CAC is the Corporate Affairs Commission. Pre and post those meetings, if there are filings you need to do, perhaps you want to change a director in the board of directors, or you want to change or alter the shareholding of the company, either by reduction or increase. So those are areas that company secretarial will cover. Then, of course, board meetings, you take minutes, prepare minutes of meetings, and share and all of that. So those kind of services are services that I have had cause to provide over the course of my career as a lawyer. But in terms of focus, I would say dispute resolution. And that's what we do.
I mean, you say dispute resolution. First thing that comes to my mind is mediator of some sort. Does that word capture?
It does. But like I said before, it is an aspect of dispute resolution. It will come under alternative dispute resolution. Because where parties have by themselves decided to resolve the dispute, come together and have a conversation. Mediation is essentially saying, before we escalate these issues, let's sit down together and have a third party listen to us and sort of, galvanize us towards settlement. Because the truth is, with mediation, there is no compulsion. It doesn't really have that force. At the end of the day, the mediator is not handing down a particular decision or award. You are only guiding the parties to attempt an amicable settlement. So it is the same as calling your uncle or your egbon to come and listen to you and your brothers in a little fight and try to resolve it. That type of thing. But it is more formalized when you do that as a lawyer. There are courses you can take to become a mediator. There are institutions where you can approach to, kickstart the mediation process. But
amazing.
It's an ideal process, like I said.
That's really good. That's really, this career series has been very instructive for me because I've had different kinds of people here. The very first professional that kickstarted this series was a senior data engineer with Microsoft. Then I had the director of MoneyPoint globally, director of content for MoneyPoint globally, last episode. But I'm always picking things from people. And from what you just said, you've just spent maybe about 5 minutes just talking about some terms in your own specialty. And it feels like, this is such an open ocean with a lot of depth. Okay, so
you're right.
How did you get here? How did you get started in law?
Law, that's a long story, but I'll try to summarize it as much as possible. So the truth is, as far as I remember, I never really wanted to be a lawyer. Like,
that's actually
the first, when I say that to people, they they are often surprised because of, where I am at now and my practice of law. But the truth is, I never really wanted to be a lawyer. My initial career goal was to be an engineer. And I think the reason was because I liked that, safety, this thing that they used to wear. Helmet. It just felt like, we are down to business, we're getting things done. And so it excited me. And of course, while I was very young, I learned that being an engineer is a very lucrative profession. Yeah. And so it was something I looked forward to. But I think what dissuaded me along the line was maths. And I may have casted a lot of lawyers with this disclosure. I see. A lot of my colleagues never really wanted to be lawyers, but because of their hatred for maths, they found themselves in arts. And the most prominent profession or career path in the arts department was always being a lawyer. Yeah, so I already knew that. And also coupled with that, my dad being a lawyer helped because I was able to see him, practice these things, and I fell in love with the profession. The attire was the first catch for me. Seeing him wear his wig and gown before dressing to go to court, I was like, this is a bit dramatic, but I like the idea. You see me from a distance with my attire, and you already know that, this is some serious business, and this is the serious. So that was the starting point for me, seeing my dad excel in that area. Eventually, when I finished secondary school, and I needed to take the next decision in terms of what I wanted for myself, I had to sit down with my dad, and then he was saying to me, I know you said you wanted to be an engineer. You're in arts class. How do you want to do that? I just said, I like what you do. I want to be a lawyer. I think I like this profession.
How old were you at this time?
I was probably 15.
Oh, okay.
I was very young then. So
quite insightful for a 15-year-old.
Yes.
To be able to say that to your father.
To my dad. And he was very pleased because as a lawyer, I think it's beginning to change now, but then as a lawyer, you look forward to your family members becoming lawyers as well. There was this pride in saying, all my family members are lawyers. People still pride in that, but I've seen a lot of my friends, colleagues say that, you see this law, with the whole stress, I'm not sure I want my son to be a lawyer. It's boring for different reasons, So, but my dad wanted as much as possible. He encouraged it and, somehow put it in our consciousness. My dad will, in preparation for court appearances, come before us and, begin to talk to us as if, he's in court already. And, that whole simulation became very exciting to me. Like, I want to do this. I want to be like my dad. And so I think that was the starting point.
That was your own private masterclass. For real. Bro.
Exactly.
I mean, when I had Mr. Obina, Director of Content for Money Point, he too spoke about the influence that his father had on his career path. And I think that is it's a common theme I'm seeing with a lot of, men who have gone on to do great things in their career.
You're correct.
I mean, obviously you would have outliers who maybe didn't have a father present or their father died, like myself and all of that. But there's no absence of that male role model, right? That helps you and guides you. Does your father still practice law till today?
He does.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he does. And we collaborate. We get to do work together.
For real?
Yeah, so that's
that's the battle against the Obidigwes. You don't know what's coming.
So when sometimes I get overwhelmed or I begin to feel like this is getting out of my hands, I need to speak to a senior colleague. He's the one I would typically call and consult with him, and it has been very helpful. And like you rightly said, the roles that our parents play in helping us choose our career path cannot be overstated.
I feel you, man.
Because I feel like as a child, you have things that you're passionate about, you have things you like to do, and sometimes you just make conclusions based on that. I like to play ball, so I think I want to be a footballer. I like to cook, so I think I like to be a chef and all of that. But your parents would, looking at you, understanding your strengths and your weaknesses, help you to navigate towards your strengths.
Absolutely.
So, for instance, if I am saying that I like to sing and I want to become a music artist, but My parents have looked at me that, see, this guy's voice is not great.
It's not really there.
There's nothing special about this guy.
Yeah.
He's been taken for trainings, rehearsals, and all of that. And it's just a mediocre performance, for lack of a better word. But I know he's better at something else. As a parent, you want to encourage,
able to guide your
child towards that area of strength, you know. And I think that was something that my dad saw in me. The fact that I was very inquisitive, would ask questions about anything and everything. And that's what makes you a good lawyer, really. When you're presented with facts, a case at hand, you want to ask the necessary question. If you're not inquisitive enough, you may not be able to appreciate the issues, and that would affect your strategy overall. So that inquisitive mind was key for me. And you know, I think he also considered the fact that then I would always have my dictionary with me, wanted to learn new words, and you know, speak that out, let people know that I am speaking big English and all of that. So
that's amazing. I really, really love that. You were talking about something now that leads me to my next question. It's funny that you would say that. What are some of the qualities that you would list out now as, you know, someone who has spent 10 years in this, if you were to advise like an 18-year-old, you know, that would make them a great lawyer?
So there are quite a number of qualities, but before I go into listing them, I think it's important to appreciate that as an upcoming lawyer, your best and even only stock in trade is you.
What do you mean by that?
I'll explain. This is different from Mrs. Okafor that is selling, you know, or has a supermarket somewhere and sells goods. The value that she brings to the table are those goods that she sells. So you're coming to buy those goods. As a lawyer, what you sell is your competence, your ability to deliver. It's not like we have a legal solution as an output that we are selling or marketing to clients. It is in you. So my point is, you have to ensure that these qualities are in you, and you are able to showcase it to potential clients when the opportunity arises. And one of those qualities would be competence. Competence is, in literal terms, the ability to do something, the ability to get something done and done efficiently. And, you know, law is a very wide, you know, area, in the sense that there are different aspects of law. And the truth is, as a lawyer, I do not think that it is possible to be competent in every area of law. You would have your area of strength. Just like when I was introducing myself, I talked about my area of strength being dispute resolution. The first thing you want to do is to identify an area that you want to dominate. That when they are calling 5-10 lawyers in those areas, your name will be mentioned, either as an established name or as a prospect. That competence is what will win you clients. Because guess what? When you go into business development, you're trying to win clients, you're trying to get work from clients. They will check you out. Beyond what you say to them, beyond what you present in your marketing materials, the client wants to see that in that area of law that your service is to be required. You are very knowledgeable, you are experienced, and that you can deliver on that job. So competence is very important. There are some little traits you must possess. You must be very responsible to work. Your attitude to work must be great. You must appreciate deadlines. You must appreciate the what you have been engaged or what you're about to be engaged to do. If a client is complaining that his property is about to be taken away from him or her, as a competent lawyer, you're already thinking of urgent steps you can take to prevent that from happening.
I feel you.
Competence here is not just, oh, I'm a lawyer, I know the principles of law to apply here, but how do you salvage that situation? How do you get your client out of that situation in a manner that is a win for the client? So competence cannot be overstated. I would also list out reputation, because reputation is as important as anything. Your reputation is what you carry with you as a lawyer. Reputation in terms of the quality of work you deliver, reputation in terms of client management. You want to be known as someone that, if I give this guy this thing to do, he gets it done. No matter what it takes, no matter what, he needs to do, he gets it done. So that reputation is what follows you wherever it is that you're going.
Yeah.
Of course, diligence, of course, all those positive traits that you expect of a professional.
Yeah.
You must possess them as a lawyer. And I think that the process of becoming a lawyer prepares you for that in a way. You spend 5 years in school, you spend at least a year in law school. During this period, you are burning candles, mastering the different principles of law for the different subjects, So I think that volume in terms of what you need to understand, what you need to be knowledgeable, what you need to know helps you to be well positioned for the task ahead. So competence, like I said, and a good reputation.
Amazing. The very last episode, Mr. Obina stretched execution a lot. Do you come across lawyers in your field who are all talk but don't have that power of execution?
Oh, yes.
Because in the media creative space, we know a lot of them.
Yeah.
They go to fancy schools, they have fancy degrees, but that's it.
That's where
and they can speak big English.
Yeah.
Very convincing big English. But when it comes to getting the work, so what's been your experience in that regard?
Oh, yes. Just like with every other aspect of life or business, you have lawyers that, it's just talk with little or no effort towards execution. And I think it boils down to your training, because as a lawyer, I would always say that your formative, years, you should take that or use that to actually learn the law, get properly trained in a structured law firm, and then based on what you have learned, you can now build on that. Structured law firms will always emphasize the importance of execution, because that is what keeps clients, that is what brings clients, that is what will cause a client to recommend your services to another client. So you must be able to execute. No matter how brilliant your arguments are, no matter how big your English sounds, it will all boil down to execution. Did I get result at the end of the day? So you may be able to keep them engaged for a month or two with your big English, with the processes and procedure, but at the end of the day, where they see that these results are not coming, there will be question marks, and that would affect your overall competence to do the job. So execution is at the heart of what we do. Amazing. We always say, all of the places I've worked, and even at my firm at Els Legal, we always emphasize execution, because it is a veritable marketing tool or business development tool. Imagine you give me a task to, whatever it is, get one released from the station, file an action to recover debt, whatever it is. And there is a projected timeline to execute.
Yeah.
And I deliver or execute before that timeline lapses. As the client, you will be impressed, because in your head, this was going to take 6 months, and I call you 3 months down the line and say, this has been done, this has been achieved. That impression created by the swift execution will always speak volume. If tomorrow you want to get that work done, and that's how human nature is, you would naturally come to me, unless there is something that, gravitates you to somewhere else, and that rarely happens. So that is very important. Execution, very, very key.
Amazing stuff. I want you to kind of paint a picture for the exact process of becoming a lawyer, which is, first of all, going to school. Say we're talking to your average 18, 20-year-old guy who is looking to get into school for law. What is he to expect in the first year? What does first year of being in school for law look like? And most importantly, what would you advise they do from day one?
I've noticed that different schools have their different curriculum in terms of subjects to be offered.
Oh, really?
Yes. Not so. At the end of the day, during the 4-5 years period, you would have undergone or at least you would have been taught all of these subjects, but how they are taught is what differs.
Oh, okay.
Like for instance, in my school, the only
what school?
Nnamdi Azikiwe University. Unizik.
I had friends.
Shout out to Unizik.
I had friends who went there.
You know, in my first year, I don't know if that has changed now. The only core law course I did was legal method. All the other courses were, as we call it, borrowed courses, non-law courses. We did a lot of GS courses, general studies, English. We did computer science. We did like different courses. We did as much as, if I'm not mistaken, 16 courses. And legal method was the only law course. But what I recall happened in my first year was I became excited because, you know, from a distance, when you hear of law or a lawyer, you think of courtroom litigation, you think of, you know, the whole advocacy, coming to court to argue, objection, my lord, and all of that. So, and also considering that my dad, that was the area that he majored on and still does. So that was my viewpoint of, if you tell me, what does it take to become a lawyer? Who is a lawyer? I'm already telling you, someone that goes to court, someone that shouts objection, my lord. But when I started studying law, I started to see things a bit different. It was then I appreciated that dispute resolution is just a tiny aspect of law in general. And there are other aspects and there are other things that you can do. I think another thing that stimulated my mind was, so we did what is called logic and philosophical thinking, if I got that. So what that helped me to do was, it improved my thinking abilities. Because when you do logic, you are taught that for every argument, there is a premise and there is a conclusion. So that consciousness, having that consciousness that, okay, if I'm advancing an argument, there needs to be a basis, like a premise. The reason why I'm concluding this, I need to have put that forward, you know, and that helps you going forward. If you are arguing a case or trying to make a point, either in court or as a court solicitor, you are reviewing agreements, exchanging positions with the counterparty and trying to make a point. You want to first establish the basis for a position you are taking. In fact, that is what is always looked into. Even in, courtroom litigation, when you file your court papers and the court is looking at your argument, your written address, the basis for your argument is what the court will identify, analyze, and try to either agree or not. So logic was very important. And so when I started to learn logic and legal method in my first year, I was like, oh, wow, this is very interesting. I think another thing that, you know, captured my interest was the use of Latin expressions. In my first year, I would hear a lot of Latin, and I still have a couple of them in my head, but I used to know a whole lot. You know, any opportunity I have to speak with lawyers, just, you know, drop one there, and a non-lawyer is looking at you like, what is this guy? What is this one now? What is this about? So that was also very exciting for me, you know. But like I said, first year was more of general courses, except for legal method and logic, which is not even a core law course. Logic is not a core law course. But I later on learned that some schools teach you a couple of core law courses in your first year. So I said it differs. I think my wife had, beyond legal method, I think she did some other, maybe constitutional law or something. I'm not sure now. But yeah, so as I continued to study law, I began to appreciate that law is a very wide course, and there are several aspects of it. So as an aspiring lawyer, you want to first, during your university days, understand the principle or theory of law. Practice is a step further, but you first want to understand what the law is saying before you can put it into practice. And the truth is, at some point in uni, you have to choose courses they'll tell you, as between this course and this course, you choose one. So what comes to you? The mind of a potential lawyer is, oh, okay, I need to start thinking of areas I probably want to specialize in. So maybe, for instance, instead of women and minority as an elective course, you want to do, say, legal drafting and conveyancing, whatever it is. But you need to, as you journey through this process of becoming a lawyer, you need to continually think, you need to ask questions. After your first year experience, you want to ask yourself, what are those areas of law that excite me the more? What are those areas of law that I am passionate about? What are those areas of law I want to consider majoring on eventually? What helps you with making that decision is
because
one.
I was
and you come to that. One is mentorship, having to speak to lawyers ahead of you would go a long way in helping you make decisions, because you haven't experienced it yet. So you're speaking to a lawyer who has practiced, gone through that entire process, and say, okay, I'm in my third year, I'm thinking as between say oil and gas or energy law and women and minority. I don't know which area to. The lawyer can ask you, are you passionate about equality of rights? Are you passionate about the justice system? Another thing that really helps is internship.
Okay.
Cannot be overstated.
Okay.
Cannot
even
be
as a student.
Oh yes, that is the most important phase of internship, if you ask me. And that's something that I unfortunately missed out on or did not appreciate, because my era, especially some of us that were in the East, studied in the East, or some aspects of even the North, because I've spoken to some of my colleagues, we didn't really have that exposure. I noticed that some of the guys in Unilag and southwestern states were already going on internship as early as second year, getting that law firm experience, building that network of networking. Do you understand? Yeah. And that really helped them eventually in landing a good job. Because if you intern at a place, a reputable law firm, and you perform well, the door will at least always be open for conversations if you eventually want to join them. So internship is very important, because when you now see the law applied in practice, it helps you to appreciate it better. Okay. And that will in turn help your decision making. If I have seen how energy law is applied, if I've seen the kind of clients that I will probably be servicing if I am an energy law expert, I'm able to appreciate better. Is this something I want to be doing in 5-10 years to come? Is this something that I have passion about and all of that? So those two, I think, are the most striking. Of course, there are other things that also help, but if you have good mentorship and you intern early enough, it helps. What is the importance of law to business? At what stage of the business does the founder or the founding partners need to, they just need to consult a lawyer and say, yo, we're trying to do this. Yeah. This is what we're trying to do. Help us in this regard or whatever. I do know that when I'm brought in for business development purposes, it's one of the first things I ask. Consider. Yeah. Do you understand? Do you guys have a lawyer? Do you guys have contracts drafted out? So I just wanted you to speak on that briefly. Very, very important question. And I think that the importance of law cannot be overemphasized. Yeah. What's the opposite of law? Lawlessness, anarchy. I think that conversation has to start from the get-go. And that's the mistake that most people make. They say to themselves, I'm still a startup. I'm still trying to look for money. I'm still trying to stabilize. So getting the lawyer is extra wahala. Getting the lawyer is extra expense. And I think I can avoid it until such a time where there is money everywhere. But the reality is that you need a lawyer to get you on the right footing first. I feel you. Because there is virtually no business area or business practice that is not regulated one way or the other. The media space, for instance, is regulated. There are compliance clauses, requirements. There are things that you must do before. You can properly operate a media house or a media outlet. There are associations here and there. Those associations have their constitution, they have their modus operandi. So laws are very important. In fact, as preliminary as your setup, the type of setup you would have. Do you want to have a corporate? Do you want to have a limited liability company? Do you want to have a business name? Do you want to have like those kind of conversations are conversations you should be having with a lawyer.
Yeah.
The lawyer would ask you, what are your business goals? What are you trying to achieve here? And based on your goals, the lawyer can advise you on the entity that is most suitable. For instance, if you are a startup and I see that you have a very lean team, like the team size is very small, say a 2 or 3 man, company, I will not readily recommend a limited liability company because registering a limited liability company come with a number of regulatory and compliance expectations.
Yeah.
You're expected, there's certain meetings you're supposed to have within a certain time. There are certain filings you're supposed to make at the Corporate Affairs Commission and other bodies even. So I may recommend a business name. Start off with that. There are some regulatory requirements, but not as cumbersome as operating a limited liability company. So start off with that. When you are able to afford a legal person, either in-house or by outsourcing that service, you can now maybe consider taking things further because you need a lawyer who is hands-on to guide you through the process. When it's time for you to file this or comply with that, you need a lawyer to let you know that this is a requirement, this needs to be done, and if you fail to do it, these are the consequences. I noticed that most business owners are reactive when it comes to compliance. It is only when do you understand? It's only when
me, my bro, I've had my
the regulator has sent you a message that how far have you complied? Have you done this? Have you done that? You now pick your phone and call your lawyer. See you. These people are disturbing me and I don't know what they are talking about.
They're expecting the lawyer to
do magic.
Make magic happen.
Whereas as a business owner, that conversation should have happened from the get-go.
Yeah.
Because you want to understand that as a business person in this line of business, what are my regulatory requirements? What are those things that I must do in a calendar year to be on the right side of the law? Yeah. And it is very important because that can cost you a very big job, like a life-changing project.
I feel you.
I've also noticed that most very organized entities, if they want to go into contracts with you, they ask for these things. They want to be sure that you are also compliant. They want to see your tax documents. They want to see your CAC documents. If you're in the financial services sector, they want to be sure that you have done all your filings with the CBN, with the what's it called, NDIC, whatever regulator
SEC,
that. Do you understand? So all of those things are important. So you want to get it done early enough. There's this confidence that you have when you are compliant. Nobody can tell you anything.
Exactly.
When the client is asking for documents, immediately you're sending it to the client. And that also translates to the confidence that the client will have when it comes to you. The truth is, a business owner or a business that is struggling with compliance may also struggle with complying with the terms of the contract.
Fair.
If you have a compliance problem,
fair enough,
it's going to follow you everywhere.
Fair enough.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
If I haven't done anything done anything that I'm required to do as, for instance, a financial services company, what's the assurance that I have as a counterparty that financial services company will, for instance, meet with its obligation in the contract? You've not complied. You've not been filing. If you're required to do something in this contract, what's the guarantee that I have that you will comply? So, very important. Law and business, they're like, you need one.
Joined at the hip.
That's a good expression, but you need one. They can't do without the other.
Yeah.
Business, you can't thrive as a business owner. A business cannot thrive without laws in place. Another angle is, for instance, this whole thing with what's it called? Healthy competition as business rivals. Laws help to create that balance. If it weren't for laws, the small players in almost all the industries will find it difficult or impossible to play.
Exactly.
Or to even participate in that industry. But it is the laws in place that create that level playing ground. That as an entity who is duly registered and who has done all that is required of it, you can win businesses, you can apply for this, you can do this, you can do that. There are provisions under the FCCPA, for instance. FCCPA is the legislation that caters for what's the word now? Healthy competition amongst businesses, amongst establishments. So there are certain things that you cannot do, for instance, as a business owner. No matter how much you have, no matter the influence you think you wield, you cannot totally dominate. It's called abuse of dominant position. If you're a big player in a particular sector, there are certain things you cannot do, because when you do that, you put your your rivalries in a disadvantaged position, and the law frowns at that. So that's another area where law comes to create that balance.
Ethics of doing
ethics of doing business.
Amazing, really amazing stuff. I personally learned a few things from what you just said, because I am looking to start a few things. Personally, I have always run a media company. Right, a media production company, and I'm looking to morph it into something else. I've been working on the plan for a while now, and once I have the plan, in fact, you are going to be the person that I call. You understand?
Evidence, exhibit EA1.
Markets.
Captured like in real time.
Because
that's mean, good to know.
I really do not want to. I don't, especially when you're dealing with creative intellectual property. It is so important that you protect your interests from the get-go.
It is.
You know, we're living in a digital age where anybody can claim that something is theirs that you understand. If you don't.
Another important aspect, and maybe I should just shed some light on it. So businesses rely on intellectual properties to thrive. Whether it is copyright, trademark, patent, whatever it is, right? But that is what puts you in profit. It is the fact that you enjoy exclusivity in, for instance, a particular song that you can, as a creative, make money out of it. Another person cannot choke head inside that, you know. So you want to protect your intellectual rights as early as possible, because the way the law looks at it is first come, first serve. Who's the first person that came to the if we're saying a copyright, for instance, there are two instances under which you can claim ownership. Either from by way of registration, when you register with the Copyright Commission. The date of registration, from that date, you enjoy exclusivity in respect of that copyright. There's also another angle, which is who was the first person to put out that work in a what's the word now? In a medium that can be reproduced. For instance, if it is music, did you put that in a flash drive? Did you burn that into a disc? Do you understand? There's something that we can look at to say, okay, this was when this was actually produced. Exactly. So you're not compelled to actually register, but some people go ahead to register. That's the way copyright works. But the point I'm trying to make is, if you have any intellectual property right and you are not taking it serious, maybe you have a very beautiful logo that you've come up with. It is in your your marketing materials. It is in your, say you're into fast moving consumer goods. You have that as part of your label for your goods. It is a very huge risk to take, where you just leave the logo there without even trying to register it before deploying it, because another person can go and use it, and that person will enjoy exclusivity over you.
Exactly, because they're the first
person to register it and use. So all of those things are very important, and there's no better way to be assured than, of course, speaking to a lawyer early enough.
I feel you.
Early enough. And when I overheard you talking about like planning, still trying to plan something around your media business.
Yeah.
The truth is, a lawyer can also play a vital role during the
planning phase.
Yes, because there are certain things that delay because you don't have clarity. But when you speak to a lawyer, lawyer is able to help you structure. Okay, see, you can have this, you can have a subsidiary, you can have a group of companies. This can be doing this can be doing that. So that gives you better context, and that may be what you were just waiting for to conclude your plan.
Exactly. Very important.
So we can start talking now.
No. That's the crux of the issue. I want us to talk about money next. We're almost done with this, but I want us to talk about money.
Yes.
How do lawyers make money? That's number one, generically. Two, what will be your hack for the young ones coming behind for how they can better position themselves to make money, to be profitable as lawyers?
Okay. Yeah. Now, first question, how do lawyers make money? To be able to answer that question, we must first appreciate the Nigerian labor market. Generally, the Nigerian labor market is oversaturated. There are a lot of competent hands. There are a lot of people who are willing to work, but the jobs are not as available. It is even more interesting in law because year after year, you have lawyers being admitted into the Nigerian Bar Association.
Yeah.
But you ask yourself, who will employ, where are the jobs for all these very brilliant minds? And one thing you also have to appreciate is you have a lot of law firms in Nigeria.
Okay.
Possibly close to the same number of lawyers you have in the country. That's just me that's me exaggerating it. But my point is, there are a lot of registered entities branding as law firms or positioning as law firms. But the standard law firms are a few. And that's where the competition comes. As a young lawyer, you are trying to land a good job where you can learn from the best and then based on what you have learned, develop a practice for yourself. But you find that the big boys, that's the places where you would look forward to working, it's very competitive, it's very difficult to get in there because there are a lot of equally competent hands. During my time, it wasn't so easy to land a first class because, of course, good grades is what will first get you to the door.
Okay.
You would have then in a whole, I think during my set, it was probably about 20 first class students that we had. But these days I hear as much as 100, as much as 100 and something. I've also heard that the marking scheme or guide has been a bit relaxed, but I'm not quite sure how that operates. But my point is, there are a lot of guys out there with good results. But what makes the difference for you? To be able to make money, especially as a young lawyer, you are most likely going to make that money as an employee, as opposed to setting up your own. In fact, we have recently, our regulators passed, or rather included that under our laws that you must undergo at least 2 years pupillage before you can say you want to own or operate your own practice.
Okay.
You must have worked in a law firm for at least 2 years.
2 years.
Yes. So I think that if for young lawyers who are trying to, get into the profession and make money from it, you have to first ask yourself, what is my value add? What am I bringing to this establishment? What do I have? Right?
Yeah.
And like I said before, a good starting point will always be your results, because there's a presumption that if you got good grades in uni, you got good grades in law school, you're probably a good chap. You probably know what you're doing. So that goes a long way to help. But something I've seen happen a lot of times now, which I also referenced previously, internship. Internship is a door opener. If you have interned at an establishment previously, you can, after becoming a lawyer, walk in and say, hey, my Oga, you were my supervisor at the time when I interned here. I was well appraised. I think I performed fairly?
Yeah.
Do you think that, this is an opportunity for me to also join the firm and, whatever practice area it is? But that internship helps you. It opens the door for you. Another thing that really helps is professional networks, professional platforms. LinkedIn is a good.
Yeah.
A lot of lawyers, including myself until recently, do not fully appreciate the importance of LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a bridge. You can meet your mentor easily by just clicking the follow button, and when he or she follows you back, you can drop a message. You can. So you have to be strategic about these things. Of course, it's not to just go on LinkedIn and start sending messages to every single person.
Yeah.
You have to ask yourself, what do I want? What are the areas of law that I'm passionate about?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, dispute resolution. Oh, okay, company secretarial. After you've answered that question, you start to look for established lawyers in those areas. This is a senior advocate of Nigeria. He has done this, he has done that. Even in the dispute resolution, it is also good to establish yourself within a subject area. So if as a dispute resolution practitioner, are you an energy law expert? Are you an expert when it comes to insolvency matters? Are you an expert when it comes to property law matters?
Yeah.
So once you've identified all of these things, you want to start targeting established minds, experts in those areas, following what they do, because mentorship cannot be overstated. Like you want to see how did they get to this point? How did they start off?
Yeah.
And try to align your actions with that. Then occasionally ask questions where you need direction. I feel that as mentors, it is not so difficult to see or spot a mentee or a potential mentee who has prospects. Not a mentee who is coming to ask you all the questions, who is being lazy about growth, and just saying, oh, I finished law school, I've been called to the bar, please, how can you help me? You've not put forward anything I can work with.
I feel you.
I want to know that, oh, I am good at this. This is what I do. This is what I am passionate about. And I can now say, okay, based on this and this and this, this is what I think you can do in the short term, and this is what you can do long term. Overall, I would say that as a young lawyer, you should not have your focus on making money in that sense. I know that when people hear this, they sound apprehensive, like, are you saying that I should turn a slave for you and not look after myself? No, that's not the point. If you work in a structured law firm, you will be able to take care of your important needs. The salary you earn should be able to cover your important needs. So you should not be looking to earn an amount that will overnight change your life, because these things don't happen overnight.
Make you buy Benz.
Do you understand? Go on those very important vacation and trips. You have to be patient about it. Your focus should be more on learning. I'm not saying that you should not at least get a good job that takes care of your needs. That is also important, because if you're not able to feed well, if you're not able to commute to and fro, if you're not able to take care of your little needs, pay your rent, there's no need. There's really no need for all this. So,
exactly.
But when you have your focus on learning, what you're doing for yourself is you're building value, because like I said, what you learn will eventually become useful, either as an employee or if you choose to set up your own. So spend those early years actually grinding, like whatever it takes you. And I always say it, the youngest lawyers are the lawyers that do the most, are the most hardworking lawyers, because they're the ones that, churn out the first draft. You have to look at the bundle of documents, scan through everything. So you want to be diligent from the get-go. Don't be lazy about it. Don't avoid shortcuts. There are a lot of shortcuts to everything.
The real work is.
Do you understand? Clear. Yes, with the introduction of AI, you have a lot of young lawyers that will readily opt for shortcuts. you're given a task to do, you just put it on for ChatGPT or any of the AI tools, and you want ChatGPT to do the work for you. It doesn't work that way. AI is good in the sense that it can help to refine your thoughts, it can make suggestions for you, but to be solely reliant on that, which is what I think I have observed lately, like a lot of the young lawyers we see these days want to, just get things done through the back door. What is important for them is, Shay, you asked me to do this, I have done it for you. But do you actually understand what I have asked of you? When I give feedback, do you consider the feedback? Do you review what I have done to even appreciate the changes or the amendments that have been made, so that when you subsequently have a similar task, you can, based on the knowledge and experience you've had from the first task, get things done better. So you have to be patient. You have to always opt for the route of diligence, the part where you have to actually sit down and get the work done. It is stressful, yes, but it pays.
Yeah.
Even short term, employers are human beings. When they see how committed you are to your job, when they see how you turn up when there are tasks, it encourages them.
Yeah.
If as an employer, if I see that you put in the extra hours, you're working every now and then to get things done. It's a good sign. If there's an opportunity to increase your salary, I will not hesitate.
Definitely.
But on the other hand, the lawyer will, just dishes out excuses here and there and is not up and doing. I would be really discouraged to want to offer more in terms of remuneration.
I feel you.
Yeah. So that is it as it relates to making money as a young lawyer. Focus on building yourself, focus on value, and over time, everything will fall in place. It can be very frustrating sometimes because the lawyer's job is a lot. It gets overwhelming. Sometimes you have to prepare court papers to be filed the next day. You're burning candles just to meet up with deadlines.
Yeah.
Those things are not interesting sometimes. You go on IG, you see your friends enjoying themselves, going on trips, doing TGIF and all of that, but you have to stay back to get one or two things done. Don't see that as a bad thing. Don't see that as you losing. You're actually building yourself.
Yeah.
And eventually when it pays, people are always like, oh, wow. Without appreciating all the effort, all the hard work that you have put over the years. So yes, as a young lawyer, very important. You can't avoid that.
Amazing.
Yes, sir.
Really, really amazing stuff. So I have a couple of rapid fire questions for you. I just throw them. You just give me quick answers. I just want to
see how I feel.
What's the most underrated legal field? What's the most underrated legal field?
I'm sure I can answer that quickly. So the most underrated legal field, from my own experience, would be data privacy, but it is no longer as underrated as it used to be. People are beginning to now see that, there's something here. Why I say it is underrated is because you do not have as much players in that space as you have in the other aspects of law.
I feel you.
And it is very lucrative.
Amazing. What's the most overrated legal field?
The most overrated legal field is obviously dispute resolution.
Okay.
It's overrated because even before you become a lawyer, that's the perception that most people have when you're talking about law or lawyer. Is objection, my lord, wearing your wig and gown, making arguments in court.
Yeah.
And so, as you'd expect, a lot of law students, a lot of lawyers delve into that area. But the reality is that dispute resolution is not as lucrative as the other aspects of law. In fact, if you run a standard law firm and you attribute equal resources to your different practice areas, in terms of profits, litigation will not compete.
One book every young lawyer should read.
The 1999 Constitution. That's the starting point, because the 1999 Constitution will give you would help you appreciate the legal landscape, the country, where we are at in terms of course, that's the grand norm. When you hear grand norm, that's like the most supreme law. Every other law is a junior brother to it. So you want to first understand what the Oga Patapata is saying, and then that trickles down to the subsidiary legislation. Yeah. If you're not abreast with the law, you'll be applying the old law, making all the sweet arguments. And the opposing counsel will just say, my lord, that position has been changed in this and this and this case. And all the arguments you have dead on arrival. So
thank you so much, Ebuka, for coming on the podcast. You did say you run a legal business. How can people reach you? Your business, and then how can people reach you personally? Your social media pages and whatever. You know, and when you're coming, like I said, you don't bring only dollars. We're only collecting dollars.
Very important.
You know what I'm saying?
Please repeat this part of the podcast.
We are only collecting dollars.
So, sorry, I just lost the question. Ask the question.
Yeah, how can people reach your firm, and how can people reach you?
So like I said, the name of the law firm is Els Legal. Els Legal is a full service commercial law firm. We major in dispute resolution, dispute management. Even before it becomes a dispute, we help you to manage or anticipate dispute and help you to, position yourself in a way that those disputes are avoided. We do a bit of corporate commercial law advisory. We do a bit of company secretarial services. For contact, I am reachable on Ebuka Obidigwe on LinkedIn.
I'll put it there.
Okay, Ebuka Obidigwe is my name on LinkedIn, so you can always check me out and we can connect. If you have questions, you have things we can do together. I'm all open. Then phone number? Or what?
You can put your phone number.
Phone number 070-8217-2537. If you want to discuss anything law related, you have questions, you want to consult.
Your email as well.
We're at your
give them your email.
Then for email, we have info@elslegal.com. You can send your inquiries to that email address.
Thank you very much, Ebuka, for coming on the podcast. We appreciate you. Follow him.
Thank you for having me.
Bring business. Let's do work. And I hope you guys have gained a lot from this episode. So I'll see you people later. Watch it. Do everything you have to do. If you like, don't do it. It's not my business.
Watch it and subscribe to my Oga's YouTube page. Very, very key.
All right now.
All right.
Thanks a lot, man. God bless.
Yeah, we did this.
God bless.